All right, here we are live. Oh, look who's here to help Pawpaw celebrate episode number 100. Can you dig it? Little Coleman. I was going to have him do the intro, but he hadn't learned to talk yet. Which hampered that a little bit. Hey, do something funny for the people. The people demand to be entertained. You're an entertaining little fella. Yeah, look at yourself. All right. Yeah, clap. Can you clap? Yay! Say yay! Break on through. All right. Your mama's gonna get you now. Say goodbye to little Coleman, everybody. You got something to say? Hey. All right, here you go. Bye. All right. Here we are live at 5, and it's no jive. It's break on through because it's Tuesday. Now I'm going to make one little announcement, and then I'm going to jump right in. I told y'all I had a special show today, and as you can see, I got some room here. So, let me just talk about how happy I am that my first release on my very own label, Long Haired Weirdo Records, is now out. Scott Savage, Memento Mori, Long Haired Weirdo number 001. 2 versions. Red vinyl, of which there are 360, and blue vinyl, of which there is 190. And in addition to those, the Savage Beat, double 7-inch. These boys are from Amsterdam. No, that's not Amsterdam, South Carolina. That's Amsterdam over in Europe, the Netherlands. 2 records. On the B-side of one record, Jerry A. from Poison Idea joins the guys. On the other B-side, doing a Motorhead / Pink Fairy song, is me. What other reason do you need to get it? Go to ANTiSEEN.com right now and get, well, after our program. So, as you all know, this is episode number 100, and I just want to tell you all I'm very, very grateful for all of you that tune in with me live, the ones that watch it later, the ones that save up a month's worth and watch them while you're on the road. I appreciate every one of you, and the feedback I'm getting from you individually, private messages and stuff like that is very inspiring, and I really appreciate you guys. And I know one of the reasons people tune in is because Break On Through has some of the best mood lighting of any podcast on the internet. People are talking about the mood lighting all over the place. So I want y'all to enjoy that, but I'm going to tell you something right now. Without further ado, I'm going to have our special guest. But first, no one ever thought it would happen. People have said, hey, Jeff Clayton, why don't you have special guest on the show? And I'm like, man, it ain't going to happen. He don't do interviews. He don't like interviews. But for episode number 100, we got him in. The Elusive. And for tonight, exclusive, direct from London, England for one afternoon only. Will you please give a big break on through welcome to my main man, Sir Barry Hannibal. Yes, sir. I better see some hand clapping. Great to see you, Barry. Great to have you here, man.
Great to be here.
Didn't think it would ever happen, but here he is. We're drinking some good old-fashioned coffee. Because we're working class and we get up early and we're tired. So what I'm going to do, so if you guys have some questions, we are trying to be kind of state of the art today and making ourselves a little monitor so that we can see the questions. Yeah, there they are, right there. So if you have a question and we happen to catch it for Barry, go ahead and ask. But otherwise, I'm going to, you know, when Break On Through started, it was basically a telling of the ANTiSEEN story. But after we got to modern times and stopped talking about the past as much, it became more of just a discussion with me. And that there are parts of the ANTiSEEN story that you will get a different perspective on from the people that it happened to or that were the ones doing it, and not just my perspective. And so I'm real excited to hear some of this today. I'm going to break this into 3 categories. Sir Barry Hannibal had 3 phases in the ANTiSEEN story. 1, the audition in 1994, correct?
That's right.
Number 2, retirement. Number 3, the return. And what has happened since then? A lot has happened since then. This guy has been in this band longer than anybody other than myself. So he's seen a lot. He's forgot a lot. He's done a lot. Isn't that right?
I have forgot a lot.
One guy wants to know your drumming influences. What, like, who made you want to play drums?
So, of course, Kiss made me
Right.
want to play drums, but Peter Criss has no really influence on my style. But so my influences are, and I just saw this recently on a drumming influence. Number 1, Phil Rudd. Number 2, Paul Cook. Number 3, Phil Rudd. Number 4, Paul Cook.
Yeah.
So on, so on.
Right.
Right. So really,
The original AC/DC drummer and the Sex Pistols drummer. Right? Man, it's like, if anyone said, you know, like people would think, oh, well, you're playing ANTiSEEN, you probably play like Motorhead, but you don't play like the guys in Motorhead at all. You play Phil Rudd and Paul Cook. That's the perfect blend of
and
the way Sir Barry plays.
I never realized the Paul Cook influence until Jeff Williams pointed it out to me, and as I paid attention, that's it.
We were doing a Sex Pistols tribute band for a little bit called the Bullocks.
Yeah, I know.
And Jimmy King, I'm going to take you to task right here. He asked that other drummer we had. And I said, why the hell didn't you ask Barry?
I would love to have done that.
I said, Barry plays like Paul Cook. But, hey, that's history.
That's right.
No crying over spilt milk. All right, let's start with phase 1. The audition back in 1994. So how did you even hear about it? Like, you know, because this is the part I don't remember. Did we put out ads, or did we make it known, or was it just word of mouth that we were looking? Because this is when my brother left to join Luster, the band that got signed to Atlantic. And so whoever came in had some big shoes to fill. So tell me how you heard about it.
So I was doing, Bloody Mary had just ended. I was the bass player in Bloody Mary, and that had run its course, and it just basically finished up just right at that period. So I don't remember seeing an ad or hearing anything. I remember Bill Vassell telling me hey, ANTiSEEN's looking for a drummer, you should give him a call. And
But see, at the time, we had only seen you in Bloody Mary play bass.
yeah, no, you didn't know I was a drummer.
And we
yeah.
had no idea you even played drums.
Yeah.
But like I've said in these shows before, man, me and Joe were always headhunting when we go see bands. Like, we would make a mental note. Sometimes we'd actually write it down. Such and such of this band, great drummer, great bass player, you know, because the drummer and bass player positions were a revolving door for a long time. And we had you down as one of the ones, like, if we need a bass player, we're going to you. And then didn't Little Joe, who was the actual drummer of Bloody Mary, didn't you guys, like, discuss who would go audition or something? Am I getting that wrong?
Yeah, I don't remember. I talked to Joe about that before. And I don't really remember talking about it. So, no, me and Joe didn't discuss it. Joe would kind of, we'd kind of all went our separate ways, and I was still talking to Bill a good bit, so he just let me know. I don't remember seeing the ad. I don't remember hearing anything about it.
Because Joe didn't audition.
I don't know who auditioned.
We had a lot of auditions. Zayton from Seducer auditioned. And I don't know if you remember much about his playing style.
Oh, yeah.
But it was very unorthodox.
Yeah, very eclectic.
And
awesome.
It fit for Seducer. And when you say, oh, he's good for Seducer, much like the way Keith Moon was good for The Who, Keith Moon would not be good for the Ramones. Because the Ramones need a 4/4, bam, 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 keep it steady. But watching Zayton from Seducer try to audition for ANTiSEEN was a little frustrating. And there's nothing against the guy. He just had a different style. But man, I'm gonna tell you, there was a guy coming in behind you that I thought was going to get the job, and that was John Mcclane. Used to play for No Rock Stars, Stillborn Christians, and I'd known him since I moved to Charlotte. There was a few things that not working in his favor. One, he lived in Raleigh and was not going to move back to Charlotte. So the second one, and this is no slight on John Mcclane at all, but he was one of those guys that played in a bunch of bands. And that was a big no-no for us back then. We were real, it's kind of like the way Joe Strummer used to say they were real Stalinistic with their camp. They had no outsiders. They were all like tight-knit, and they were just into themselves. And that's the way we liked to run the shit back then. And all of a sudden, I think John had an audition maybe a week after yours. And you came in, and I don't know how many songs you played. I think we required people to play maybe 5 songs.
Yeah, 3. Maybe 3.
3 or 5. It was like all the different types of things we did. Well, he comes in and just he sits down behind the kit, and it's like he's been playing with us for 10 years. And you guys, most of you out there, you've seen Barry play. You know how heavy-handed he is and loud. And we were just like, well, he's in Charlotte. He's not in any other band since, a Bloody Mary split up. He looks the part, and you're great. And so I think when you walked out the door, me and Tom and Joe had already said, that's him. And we're just like, and I even think I called John Mcclane and said, John, man, I think we found who we want. And he's like, well, man, I want to at least come audition. And I said, oh, okay, but the things I told you counted against him were big things.
Yeah.
And And he came and auditioned, and it was fun, man. I wish back then we had the capabilities of recording and doing everything just so we would have had that. You know, I guess we could have done it on VHS tape or something, but, you know, we didn't think about stuff like that back then. And, but you got the job, and your first show was it a Halloween show, or was it just a barbed wire show at Jeremiah's?
Well, it was in October, so I'm assuming it was a Halloween show.
I guess it was a Halloween.
Yeah.
We did the pumpkin and all that shit, right?
Electric barbed wire.
Where we had the electric barbed wire, where we strung barbed wire from posts that were on the stage, and they were all loaded with gunpowder charges, so that like midway through the show, I'd fall into it, and we had someone flick the switch, and they would explode. You know, it'd be like a real big explosion, and it was. People say, "Oh yeah, was it dangerous?" Yeah, it was dangerous.
And we had I had Cock Noose and Rancid Vat to.
Oh yeah, and a Cosmic Commander was getting in your face,
giving me shit. Yeah,
and here's another thing, man. When like back then, with the COS, we were a close knit group of bands, and you were put through a hazing. Any new member of any band was kind of put through a hazing, and one of the main things was Cosmo was going to the Cosmic Commander of Wrestling was going to give you a lot of shit, and Barry handled it perfectly. We introduced him to Cosmo, and Cosmo just goes up to him and saying stuff like, "Do you know how important this is?" He's like, "You better not fuck up." He says, "You better not fuck up one fucking time." And Barry just sat there with the bulldog look. Well, right, looking Cosmo right in the face the entire time, and like that's how you do it. You don't come back to us and go, "Oh man, that guy was he was getting in my face, but I was getting ready to smack him in the ass." You don't do that. We'd probably let him go if he'd done that. But so that's 1994. October of 94 was your first show. And so you stayed until what?
2006.
2006, okay. See, when we start getting into the 2000s, I can't remember anything. 1994. How many years was that, man? 12 years.
12 years. Seemed like a lot longer than that, didn't it?
But then you rejoined when?
2013.
2013 to 2022. God damn it. I wish I had a calculator. Let's see. 2013.
Look.
What?
They're doing the arithmetic for you.
Oh, are they?
Russell doing the arithmetic for you.
Is that another 12? Is that what you said?
Oh, I don't know. That might be on a lag.
Yeah. See, 3 from 12 is 9. 0. 9 years. You've been
back 9 years.
So.
That seems a lot longer than that, doesn't it?
So you've done a total of 21 of 40 years. Over half.
Feels like a lot longer than that.
It feels like a lot longer than that. Hell, man, the years now fly by. But then when you look back and go, well, we did this, and that, and it seems like, oh, hell, that was a long time ago. So, well, a lot happened in that first 12 years, man. You went to Europe with us how many times? We toured Europe how many times? At least 5, right?
I don't think that many.
4?
I don't know that many. I don't remember. Remember those things? I don't remember. But we did Europe, man, all over the country. It was really a dream come true. I mean,
man, I just wish we could have taken you to Japan.
Yeah.
No, you did go to Japan.
I did go to Japan, yeah.
But you were the bass player.
That's right, yeah.
We did take him to Japan. See, now I'm doing, his memory loss is rubbing off on me. So, in 2006, you're just like, hey, man, I got to bail out. What happened? tell the people what happened.
So in 2000, let's back up to 2003. Remember, I'd tore my ACL. I'd shredded my knee. I'd had a major surgery on my knee. I'd sit home for 9 weeks with no money coming in, no sick time, and kind of just reflecting on my early 30s, you know. So just started thinking about my future and retirement, like not retirement from music, but just retirement, you know, the end game.
Yep.
Because I hadn't thought about that before. Because I was 20-something and just, you know, doing what you do. That's right. So that was really a big thing, that 9 weeks of sit home. Well, come around 2006, I decided then I needed to make a career change. We had a baby on the way. We were getting ready to start a daycare business. And I just needed to just step back and just kind of reset my whole life and get this, get somewhere and start thinking about retirement and building a pension. And I wasn't sure how it was going to go. And I didn't want to be the guy that couldn't go on tour and couldn't play. I didn't want to be, you know, I didn't want to affect the band negatively. So I just needed to step away, get my life in order. And that's what I did. I went and got a job, you know, a job with a pension, and within 5 years I was vested. And about that time, I'd had enough vacation time built up that I was free again to feel like if I did something that I could dedicate myself to it and not be a hindrance to it. So,
well, I remember your last show. Do you?
Mm-mm.
You don't?
I remember you talking about we should do a last show, and
Well, see, I wanted to do a send off because he'd been in 12 years, and when you have someone that's been in over 10 years and they go, that's like that's a big deal to me. But he didn't want the pomp and circumstance of that. He just wanted to slip out and let the new guys slip in. And so, of course, I honored his wishes, and we did the last show in Hickory, North Carolina, at Rumors. Now, our main Mondo Braswell is going to be a resident of Hickory real soon, and man, when you get settled in, and you can have me some damn food fixed or something at your house, I'm going to come up there and I'm going to take you around and show you all these places, man. Because, Hickory's not a big town. But I'm going to show you all these historical places that have to do with the ANTiSEEN lore. And one of them being Rumors.
That was a great place.
It was a great place. We did a barbed wire show there one time. And, but it was kind of uneventful. And I remember I was in the midst of my second marriage dissolving. You were quitting. I remember that was one of those shows when I was still drinking, and I don't remember much about the show at all. I remember being a little inebriated, and but I remember I think for some reason Jason Griscom drove me to my mom's house. See, I was kicked out of my house. I was living back at my mom's for a minute, an hour away from work. And so I remember he drove me to my mom's house in Lincolnton, North Carolina. And I just got out of the car and was just kind of like, there you go. But so after that, is that when Phil Keller joined?
No, you did like 2 years with Greg and Doug.
Oh,
right?
yeah, there was the Greg and Doug lineup. Right, yeah. So there was Greg Clayton came back, and Doug Knight joined. And Doug, just until recently, Doug was the one who did the most time in the band besides me. A lot of people think it's Tom or Joe, but not the case. It was Doug. And let's see. Well, it would have been me, Joe, then Doug. But let's see here. Oh, yeah, and then after that, it was the lineup of, they did the 30th or the 25th anniversary. They did the 25th anniversary show, and we made the announcement that we would have a new rhythm section of Phil Keller and John Bowman that night. And but Greg came back, didn't he?
After I did? What? After I left?
No.
Yeah.
When you rejoined, it's when John was let go.
Yeah. So, just right around that same time, John had moved like 2 blocks from me. Mm-hmm. So, John was on his way out of ANTiSEEN, and he could talk to me about it because I was in the band. So we were hanging out a lot, and he could talk to me about it because I knew what was going on, and I knew all the players involved. So it was strange because I was talking to John about he's quitting or he's getting kicked out, however it happened. At the same time,
a little bit of both.
Yeah, it was a mutual thing, really. I mean,
yeah.
It's hard, man. I mean, it's hard to be in this band. And most people do 5 years.
Yep.
Most people get about 5 years.
5 years is about the shelf life.
It is. So John was at his 5, man, and So, and I don't remember how I became. I mean, I was talking to you, I guess, about John too. Maybe I don't know how I got, but it was kind of I was talking to John. He was on his way out, but I was also talking to you. But it was like a business thing. Like John never felt. Me and John are good, so. He never felt weird that he was going out and I was coming in. It was all good. And, so.
But, when I've told this before on Break On Through many, many times that we always tried to stay within the circle.
Yeah.
Getting members. We hate the audition process. And, it usually doesn't work. It usually doesn't work out to our best in our best interest or to our benefit when we get people that don't understand us. And I don't know, people say, well, what's to understand? I mean, it's a weird dynamic. I mean, I can't sit here and critique myself. I mean, I know what my strengths are and I know what my faults are, and I could definitely tell you about Joe's, because I'm looking at somebody else telling you that. That's easy, but turning it back on yourself is a little more difficult. But one thing I will give you credit for
is that I have no faults.
No, I wasn't going to say that, but I was going to say what seems to be one of the most difficult things for members in this band, and this would include Joe, is talking to me. And I don't mean just, hey man, what's going on? We can talk like that all day. But when if you feel like I'm making a wrong decision, or if a wrong decision on anything, either what we're doing, where we're going, what we're recording, what we're doing, we're saying, how we're presenting ourselves. If you have an opposing view, most people find it very difficult to talk to me. And especially if I get wound up about something, people seem to think it's almost impossible to talk to me. But you were always good at talking to me, and even making me see the other guy's point of view sometime. And I've always been very grateful of that. And you still play that role, but I don't think we have as much. I don't think we have as much turmoil and bad waves and stuff in this lineup. Man, I'm going to tell you, when I mistakenly said I wish we had taken you to Japan, I knew you went to Japan. What I think what I wanted to say is I wish this lineup
Yeah.
could have went to Japan.
Yeah.
Because the lineup we have right now, and some of you may agree, some of you may disagree, but me as the guy that's been in here since day one, I have to say that this is the most fun lineup we have ever had. And I know it's a real pain in the ass for Malcolm living in Connecticut, but we don't know how long that's going to be. He may be a resident of Hickory soon too.
Really?
You know? I don't know. No one said nothing to me. I'm an ordained minister, but anyway. So John was on the way out, and didn't we have something lined up? We had the Meat Men tour, right?
Yeah, I think that was already booked. Yeah.
Yeah, that was booked. Man, I'm telling you, when it's time to do stuff, we will. We're the kind of band. Oh, you got this 6-month tour book, but this guy's being an asshole. He's got to go. Chop, gone. But what about the tour? Well, we figure it out.
That's right.
And this was the tour we were going to figure out. We said, well, when we first discovered Barry Hannibal, he was playing bass, and I need to tell. I'm going to go back a little bit in way early history when ANTiSEEN was kind of on a little hiatus when Joe moved to Atlanta. Tom O'Keefe and I were really going heavy with Judas Bullethead, more along the recording, because I think in the whole time we were together, we played 3 shows, and then 25 years later, we played our 4th and 5th. But we played in Judas Bullethead played in a town in rural North Carolina called Gold Hill, at a little bar called, what was that place called? Somewhere Else?
Somewhere Else, yeah.
Somewhere Else Tavern. And man, it was kind of like the Sex Pistols coming to the South for the first time in the United States. This place was not Judas Bullethead friendly, and a group with friends of ours from the Concord, Mooresville area had a band called SDI, and Barry was the bass player. That's the first time I ever laid eyes on him.
And that was the first show I ever played out.
That was your first.
That was my first
performance.
live gig, all right, and that was opening for Judas Bullethead. How?
See how it's all kind of intertwined. It's a very incestuous thing going on, man. It's like we always. The circle, of course, got bigger as people left and we got older and people came in and stuff. But we always tried to stay within those circles, man. It's like and I guess I could say this about me and Joe. We were very untrusting, but we didn't like new people coming in. And I think that was one of the difficulties with the Phil and John era, because they were kind of like new people, you know, and we had to get used to them and they had to get used to us. That was about a 5-year limit.
Yeah.
So Barry comes back in on bass for the Meat Men tour, and man, I was so pleased to have Russ and Barry in the front. And then we had Gooch in the back, and which, by the way, we got Gooch through auditions because we'd squeezed the drummer.
Yeah.
The drummer pool.
Yeah, the drummer pool.
We squeezed
was
it dry, man.
Yeah.
So we had to do auditions, and we had better drummers than Gooch, but we knew Gooch. So.
And he wanted it, man. I mean, he really wanted it.
He did want it.
Yeah.
But that's another story altogether. But so Barry comes back. Well, then you all know the tale. We're 3 weeks before our tour with the Obsessed and I Hate God.
11 days.
11 days. 11 days until the tour. We got to find a drummer. And like I told you, we'd squeeze that drummer pool was dry, man. And so we started thinking of other bands whose drummers were compatible. first thing we did was we asked Phil Keller, hey, man, you want to come back and do this tour? But he, due to some things with his job or something, he could not do it, not for that long. So then we're just going, man, what are we going to do? And Barry just says, the easiest thing for me to do for this tour is go back to drums and let's find a bass player. And you know that story. I texted Malcolm, do you want to play with the South's premier boogie band for a tour? And without even any details, I got back, yes. And man, how many times we practiced before we went out?
It was just 3, right? Or
3?
4, maybe.
Yeah.
He came down, and we hit it every night, and on tour we went.
Yep.
Didn't miss a lick.
And it gelled so good. We get along so well in this lineup. And we came back and we discussed auditions for drummers again. And I think Mad Brother Ward had some ideas. And I just remembered thinking about the audition process. And I was getting nauseous about it. I'm just like, man, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. But I liked having you up front. I liked having you in the front line. But see what that guy's saying about the
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. I didn't know that was you, man. Yeah, I did.
Tink said he saw Barry in the airport.
Yeah.
After he got back from Japan, he said, "Welcome back," and he's looking at him like, "What the hell?" But it's amazing the people we see in airports sometimes. But so, and I think the next thing we did was go down and play the Rule Breakers Ball. Was that after? No, it couldn't have been.
Nah, it was a little while later.
But we did the Rule Breakers Ball, and you know, we play San Antonio. And those cities in Texas, they are diehard, long-time ANTiSEEN fans. Now, Tesco V, when we played San Antonio, yeah, he walked off the stage that night. He goes, "Yeah, this is an ANTiSEEN town right here," you know. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Yeah, I told you." And those people were all coming up to us. Man, we're so glad Barry's back on drums, you know. Oh, it's so good that Barry's behind the kit again, you know. And it's like, I don't know, it's like an old familiar, like getting an old car back in tip-top shape. Man, everything just ran on cylinder. And even though it wasn't it wasn't Barry's immediate preference, it wasn't mine, but once it got going, it's just like we kind of couldn't see it any other way, you know. And like there have been times where we've gotten a show we never do last minute notice, but some things come up quick and they can't be followed by something else. And we said to Malcolm, "Hey, if you want to stay home for this, we'll get Greg to play drums and Barry can go back on bass for one show, you know, because we've had
had some one-offs, yeah.
Yeah. We've had shows before where John came back and played with us when it was Russ, me, and Gooch. It was a Gus,
I Hate God in Spartanburg.
Gus, John Bowman, Mad Brother Ward, and me lineup that I think we did it once, right?
Yep.
And but Malcolm goes, no. He goes, I'm in it to win it, and I'm doing every show. So, see, that's the kind of lineup we got now. And so we're taking the old attitude of not upsetting the apple cart, because the apple cart's running real good right now. We've recorded so much. And you know what else? When he came back, Barry took more of a hands-on role in the recording, because John Bowman had been a member of the band that really took the recording, you know, and it was not like a clean cut, like, all right, John's not going to do it no more, Barry's in. That was a crossover thing. John was doing it, Barry was kind of learning as he went along, and then it got to where, you know, John had to give that up. Barry was in. And now we've gone on to work with a man named Jimmy Tutterow. And I think the first thing that's going to come out from these sessions will be the Are You Sure Hank Done It This Way single. With a Sweet Georgia Brown, formerly of Hellstomper, remix on the B-side. You guys are going to really love the way this stuff's sounding, and I can't wait till you hear the new album. This is a new album. It was completely produced by Sir Barry Hannibal. And we've been working on this for a long time, slow and steady. And y'all are going to be really happy with it, I believe. So, you got anything else you'd like to add? Anybody got any questions for Barry before we sign off on episode number 100? 100 days you sat and listened to me talk. Except for the times Malcolm took over for me. Come on. You got to tell me something. Can Barry please say smooth move ANTiSEEN?
Snare drum story.
Snare drum story.
Snare drum story. So, my snare drum is my talisman. It was a black, it was in Jamie Hoover's studio. Somebody brought it in. It was all spray painted black. You remember
Jamie
this?
Hoover from the Sponge Tones.
Yep, that was
who used to record us.
He said I could have it if I wanted, so I came, took it home, stripped it. It was that, put paint stripper on it, stripped all of it. It was that red and silver stripe snare drum. It was a converted tom. It's nothing special. It's nothing great, but it's mine, and it's been everywhere with me. So I eventually had it refurbished, and come to find out, it's a 1968 Ludwig snare drum. So that's the story with that. It's just, there's nothing great or special about that drum, but it's just mine and been everywhere.
And guys in groups, way more popular than us will see him playing that and always want to bring up, man, what is it about that snare?
Yeah, because it's converted tom. It's not even a snare.
Yeah. And let's see.
Yamaha drums, Peisty 2000s. That's it.
Well, man, we're going to get ready to sign off. You want to give them a smooth move, ANTiSEEN?
Yeah. You ready?
All right, hold on a second. That's how we're going to end the show, okay?
Okay.
So, I want to thank you all for joining us on episode 100. Give a big round of applause to Sir Barry Hannibal. I know you're all very fortunate to see him today. It may be episode 200 before he's back. But thanks for coming, man. I appreciate it.
Good to be
Appreciate
here.
the hell of it. All right?
Yep.
Give it to him.
Smooth move, ANTiSEEN!